Hello and welcome to the show. This week we're going to be working with the same 2-year-old that we have in the last 2 episodes. The first time that I worked with him through the first 2 weeks was actually a first lesson. This is the second lesson that we're going to be doing. It will be second saddling, his second ride, and want to be very quite honest with you is this horse hasn't been full with in a few weeks, so we tried to save it for the show. And but I'm not going to do a lot different to him. The only difference out here is that we have a big arena, and it's not in a round pen, and I'll be demonstrating to you what I would do on the second ride and getting this horse to where it responds to me in a relaxed and willing manner. Okay, I want to check to make sure that I still have the groundwork in place here. Again, this is a 2-year-old, and he's a young stallion. His nickname's Peanut, and I want to see what Peanut's doing here. Make sure that his body's responding to the correct angle that I'm at here, about the hip that we talked about through our groundwork that we did. When I walk into the shoulder, he should stand still, but when I go to the angle of his hip, he should move those 2 hind legs and cross those 2 hind legs over. If you can see that those hind legs are crossing over. And what he's actually doing is he's giving, right there he stepped in front of me there, but he's giving me some suppleness through his rib cage, and he's wanting to step and bend his rib cage. I require that because I want to have some lateral direction. I don't tie these horses' heads around. I don't bit them up. The next time that we'll be riding him, I'll introduce him to a bit, and you'll see that on the next show. But I want to have this here where it's soft, where I can pick up that rein he's giving. And I acquired that through the body, the suppleness on the body on the ground. So when I get on his back, you'll see that I'll be able to acquire that on his back as well as I will on the ground. So he's giving to me, he's disengaging there. He's doing everything the way I want him to. I want to see if he can direct and drive here. Go on direct and drive where I put up my direction hand and I get him to come forward. He's a little bit stiff right there, he's wanting to pull on me, so I'll go driving the hindquarters out. Be the same way if I rode him. Want him to go the other way. If I feel like he's disengaging, want to pull on me there just a little bit. So I want to try to keep him as soft as I can. Here, I find a little bit of tension in his body there, so I'm going to drive his hindquarters out. Anytime that horse really goes to pulling on me with that rein, I'm going to drive those hindquarters out. And I'll do a little bit of preparation before I put the saddle on him. If I see any, this is all I'm really doing is troubleshooting right here. And what I mean by troubleshooting is just like a pre-flight check before a pilot gets in an airplane and flies an airplane. He's going to go around and check the tires and the engine and the gauges and make sure that everything's working right. And I want to do this on this horse as well. I don't want to just throw a saddle on him and expect him to be, perfect. So I do a little bit of groundwork. It's going to take a quarter of the amount of time as it did, or even less than on the first ride. With the preparation on the ground. But I want to make sure that I implement that everything's working there for me, that he can stay still, that he'll be still when I put the saddle on him. I get a little bit tighter circle now, and I ask him to bend his body a little bit more here. There we go. That's a lot nicer. He's wanting to kind of move a little bit too quickly there. Ask him to go this way. I want to get a little bit more softness in his body here. There we go. So everything that I do on the ground has a purpose for riding. I don't believe in doing a lot of unnecessary things on the ground. I'm all about getting my horse to where they ride better. And they're a very practical animal. That's a lot nicer there. He's got a lot of bend in his body there. And he needs to see a purpose for what we're doing. I want to ask him a little bit smaller circle this time and get a little bit more bend in his body. He's pulling on me there a little bit. I wait there. You see the rein got softer, or the lead rope. I talk about it as if it was a rein, and it really is, because it'll be my rein, because this is what I'm going to ride him in. He's pulling on me there a little bit. I go to the hindquarters. You can see as soon as I go to the hindquarters, this softens up. So I want to get this side a little bit freer there. He's pulling on me. I push the hindquarters out with my driving hand. There it gets soft. You see the lead rope gets get relaxed. There you go. You see the lead rope get loose. There, the lead rope's loose. Now it's tight. So I'll push the hip to the outside. There, it gets soft. So I'll use this like my leg when I'm riding him. Push the hindquarters out. He's pulling on me there a little bit, and I'll release. Pulling on me there, then release. I want to get a little bit more bend in his body there. That's better. That's better. Okay, push to the outside, getting to where he stops and faces me. So as opposed to pulling on his head, I want to control his body, and that's what it's all about when I'm riding a horse this way, is getting their body suppled up to where their head and neck will supple up, and they'll automatically give that nose. Okay, I believe he's ready for a saddle. Okay, the same introduction to the saddle pad. The saddle, I walk up here and I'll just rub him. Rub him with his saddle pad. I'm always checking his eyes and ears, him telling me how he's thinking. Okay, he remembers that pretty nice. Go on the other side. It's not bad. And if he was jumping around, and I'd go back to doing a little bit more lead rope work. If he wouldn't stand still there, but he remembers that pretty accurately. I always make sure that I have my my lead rope running through my elbow here in my left hand, so I can grab that lead rope if I need to. Feel him tuck up there a little bit. There we go. I'll just take that off of him. Just give him a little bit of relief right there. See, the difference between what I'm doing is, and some people would do probably, is the fact that I don't ever let it get to the point to where he becomes nervous or his feet move. I want to make sure that he understands that I can take that saddle away anytime to where there's relief. And he's not claustrophobic about it. I'll just build on my actions here. Go on the other side and I'll take it off. You'll see him jump there a little bit, but I don't jump with him. When he grabs himself like that, I just give an example to stay relaxed. I don't just jump up there with him. Here and recheck my girth. Make sure that it's about even with the middle of his belly there. Like I talked about in the last show, I want to always keep moving. Because I show an example for this horse. This horse is looking for somebody to help him. He's looking for some leadership. And if I can show some leadership through my actions, my expression, then he'll stay a lot quieter. You see the nice bend that he has in his body here. That's what we're kind of looking for. It's where he pays attention. The girth check will be just to where it won't come off. First thing I ask him to do is I ask him to move his hindquarters. I go to the corner here to get those hindquarters moved. Now, if I would have just drove him off forward, that's a lot harder on that horse. That horse has to gather his hindquarters, see, and has to go forward. But at this point in time, I'm asking him to move his hindquarters to the side, which will loosen up his rib cage and take that tension out of his body. And that's what I'm really trying to do, is just take that tension and that stiffness out of his body, to where if he would think about bucking and running off, this here it's a lot less chance of him doing that because of the suppleness that he has in his body. So I'm gonna go to the corner. Just get him, he's doing that pretty nice on this side. I'll just change sides. A little bit stiffer this side. Kind of get his hindquarters out there. I don't want him to be running around. I want to get those hindquarters to, I didn't ask him to travel around me. I just asked for his hindquarters to go to the outside. There we go. Because if he gets in trouble and he's going forward, I can't help him as much as I can right here. There we go. That's a lot nicer. Okay. I'll go back and I'll just check my saddle. Now I'll ask him to drive forward, do the direct and drive. He's doing pretty nice, getting a little bit stiff right there, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stop him by throwing his hind end to the outside. Stop him. Okay, and we'll go to this side. And I'll do quite a bit of this until I feel like that he's suppled up and he's listening to me. Because when I'm going to get on him for the second time, I want to have that control of that body, especially those hindquarters and that rib cage. So he's not as good going this way, so I'm going to do a lot of disengaging here to this side, to where he starts to keep his hindquarters to the outside and gives me a little bit more suppleness in that neck. I'll just check him every once in a while, because when I'm on his back, I promise you he'll do the same thing when I'm asking him to go to the left there. That's nicer there. Now he's starting to listen to me. If he doesn't, I'm going to throw his hindquarters to the outside just like that and get him to face me. But I want to have that suppleness and that bend in that horse the whole time when he's going to that, going ahead or going around in a circle here. Still pulling on me a little bit. I want to refine that. Now the forward motion that he has, every now and again he'll just kind of start off and just get a little bit too fast for me. So I'm going to keep working with him until I get his energy to where it's down with me. That's when I feel like I can get on him. There we go. And I do a lot of this on a lead rope. The more that I've gotten better with my horsemanship, the more that I use the lead rope. The less that I, throw them loose and let them run around, because I can help them here a lot more with this lead rope. And I can teach them a lot more. I didn't get his hindquarters all the way to the outside. Now this side's becoming a lot nicer. He's keeping the bend in there. He's not pulling on me as much. It's a lot nicer. Okay, very good. I'll just do the hindquarters lead rope. Disengaging. We did that in the first show, where he's giving to that lead rope. He starts to find that direction of pull. What I do to one side, I do to the other. A little bit jumpy right there. I don't want to jump with him. I stay up in the front just in case he kicks at that lead rope. There, that's a lot nice. Very nice. Okay, on the second ride, what I'll do is I like to just go ahead and make a little hackamore out of this halter. And I just tie it around on the bottom right here to where I've got two reins there if I need it. I don't necessarily have to use it. I only use one rein, but it's a little bit easier at times instead of me throwing it over his head a lot. Now I'm getting to the point where I can start to guide him a little bit. And one thing's very important, I want everybody to understand, is that I do not pull on both reins. I do not try to get him to stop by using both reins. Still at this point, it'll probably be or it may be 5 rides or 6 rides before I ever pull on both reins to get him to give. I'm only trying to do the one rein. I just want to keep it as natural and as basic as possible. I'll go back and recheck this girth. When I go to get on him, I stay up here at the front end. Make sure that the saddle, I'm just going to remind him it's been a while. I'll bounce a little bit. I may step up here. He moved there just a second. See, I could have either I can step down in here. What I'll do is I'll just move his hindquarters around because I didn't want him to move. I'll try to go ahead and mount him there again. Stay from the front. He's a little bit jumpy there. But this mounting is very, very important. And here, he's moving his feet. I want to just keep rubbing him. See, if I didn't rub him there, he'd probably take off. I want to just keep kind of rubbing him, bringing his nose around. I feel like I need to just rebuild on that there, on the mounting. Try to build a little bit more on the mounting, get him a little more comfortable with it. He's kind of looking to the side there as I get on. And I always keep moving. You can't do enough getting those horses used to you getting up and down in the saddle. Okay, I put up with him walking there just a few steps, but I wouldn't put up with any more. Okay, I want to ask him his hindquarters to go to this side now. You can see how supple he is there. The first thing I'm going to do is ask for his hindquarters to move to the inside. Just what we did on the ground. I'm not going to ask him to go forward for the first few steps. I'll use this leg, my inside leg here, and get his hindquarters to move to the inside. There we go. Again, I'm going to keep moving. I'm going to push my saddle over from side to side, get him used to that weight distribution. I'm going to keep, I ask him, he locked up here a little bit. I'm going to use this inside leg just to get his hindquarters to move, because here's my lateral control. This is where I can take the power away from him and also teach him how to be soft. Always moving and always rubbing. If he doesn't, I'm asking him a little bit more now. If he doesn't give it to me, I'm going to use that inside leg to push those hindquarters and get him to give that body. There, that's pretty good. I'm going to keep moving. I feel like this saddle's a little bit loose, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to step off and just tighten that saddle up here just a second. Wait for his feet to stop. Okay, these young horses, now they're going to blow up on you at times with their belly, and you'll kind of see that girth check will have to be probably 3 or 4 times, maybe 5 times at different circumstances. Okay, I got my girth where I want it. Now I'm going to go ahead and get on him. I'm going to ask him to move forward this time. When I get up here, I want to keep moving. I always want to keep moving. Now, I'll ask him to get off my feet. Just ask him to kind of go forward here to walk. Now, here he kind of got a little bit tense there. If I would let that go on, he could have just started bucking. But I kind of diverted his attention. That's the key, is get these horses' attention diverted. See? If I just kind of held on and didn't catch him just in time, he'd start maybe taking off or bucking or doing whatever. But I want to be fast enough with my response. All right, I'm just gonna let him walk around a little bit here and just kind of build on him. He's feel like he's really wanting to bend to the right, but he's not to the left, but he's not really wanting to bend to the right very good. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna ask him here a little bit. I'll go his best way first, see? And he's gonna kind of sit on him right here. He got a little bit afraid. I'm just gonna reach down in here and bring that hand wide here and get the hind end out of gear. Just get that hind end out. They're gonna do this. They're gonna do this. You've got to understand how, there I got onto his hindquarters there a little bit. You've got to understand how to stop that and how to get it controlled. Now, if I wouldn't have done my correct groundwork there at the beginning, we would have had a lot of trouble on that. I'm just gonna check him here. Get his hindquarters out of the gear. There we go. Then I'll get him to go on this way. He's wanting to grab himself there a little bit, and sure, he'd start bucking. And he might here in just a second, but it's a different story now when it's out in the wide open. But it's all good. If you've got a program and you're assertive with it, and you're confident with what you're doing, you can stop that horse from, if you want to pull on me there, I keep moving his hindquarters to the outside. Now all I want him to do is go along here and trot at a relaxed manner. Just get him evened out. He's thinking I'm going to correct him there, but I'm just going to let him even himself out. Now, if he wants to kind of canter there a little bit, that's okay. He's unbalanced. He's on the wrong lead. He's going to bring his head around here, push his hindquarters to the outside. We'll go the other way. He got a tendency to kind of be a little bit unbalanced going to the right here. He wants to pull his head out on the outside, but I'm just going to kind of soften up on him here a little bit. And no way in the world am I ever going to pull on both reins. I'm just helping guiding his head. He's a little stiffer this way. I keep my hand out, go back here to the hindquarters, and get this side softened up here. Now I'll go the other way. With a horse's good side and bad side, you don't want to keep working on the one side all the time, even though it's worse than the other. You always want to rotate sides. You're still wanting to get on the wrong lead on this side here. I'll get him balanced here in just a second. I'll just soften up to him. I'm just going to pick up and guide and then release. And at times, you know, I think he's going a little bit fast there, but I'm not worried about that. I feel like he's kind of up underneath himself. I might turn him into the fence here this time. He was wanting to go that way, so a lot of the time on these young colts, whatever way they want to go is a good place for you to go as well, instead of getting in a fight. So I just encourage whatever he wants to do, just make it my plan as well. Because no matter what everybody seems to think, you don't have a lot of control on these colts on the second ride. You just got to be a good enough hand to learn how to go along with what they're doing. I feel like he's starting to come up underneath himself here. He's wanting to pull away over here to the left, so I'm going to turn him here. Yeah, I can feel this horse is really athletic. He's really wanting to get up underneath himself, which I like. He's got some good forward movement, and I'm going to use that forward movement. Just hold. I don't ever pull on him. You can see that what I ask it, I'll release. I don't ever keep that constant hold, and I'll release when he's giving it to me. He's getting up against his fence. I might go to the right this time. Now, I don't have to always be at a canter. The reason why I cantered, because he wanted to. Now he wants to trot. That's perfect. That's what I wanted him to do, see? no matter what we think, it's hard to control these horses' energy, his speed, unless we learn how to be able to go as fast as they want to go. Then they want to go slower. The only reason why they want to go fast is because they think that they're getting out, they're getting away from you. But if they realize that you can ride them and ride them through it, then they don't want to really go fast, see? Horse would rather go slow. Now he's right where I want him to be right here. I feel like that I've got him trotting at the speed I want him to be trotting at. It was a little premature for him to start off cantering, but all the time you can't stop that. You just got to ride it through and act like it's your idea. He's wanting to stop there. That's good. I said, no, I'd like to go forward. And I'll just change directions at times. Just keeping him between my legs and my reins. I don't offer him a lot of guidance, but I certainly do where I can. There we go. That's nice. I might ask him to bring his head around this way and release. Now what we haven't done is we haven't actually got him to where he'll give his head on one side. All we've done is use this rein to control his hindquarters, see? Pull this rein, it controls his hindquarters. Pulls this rein, it controls his hindquarters. But I've been able to get some suppleness through this rein right here. That's what I'm after. Now I haven't asked him to give his nose. And at this point in time, I'll just keep my hand right here and I'll ask him on my leg, I'll ask him to give his nose. He thinks he should just keep turning because that's what he's been taught. I'll ask him, he'll eventually stop here just a second. Push my weight to the outside just a little bit here. Oh, almost. But I don't want to confuse him. Right there. Very nice. You see the licking of his lips. I want to try to make it as simple and as easy as possible for this horse. I don't teach him how to give laterally on the first at a standstill, a stationary laterally, because I want him to move those hindquarters. And then I'll go to building on it. You got to become natural. You got to learn how to get with these colts. Learn how to help them in situations. Learn how to keep them out of trouble. And from now on, this horse is going to be looking for softness. He'll give you times. There'll be times that he'll fight you when you start to advance on, but he'll know how to get out of it. He'll know how to seek that softness because of these first two rides that you've started him on. Because he understands what to look for in softness. When I pick up this lead rope, I have total softness in this lead rope. I don't have to pull around on his body. You can see this total softness. He looks for that. And I haven't ever tied his head around. All I've done is some groundwork, and I've taught him how to give his rib cage and move his hindquarters. You'll have a lot of fun starting your horses if you have the ability and the knowledge to get it done. Well, I've had a lot of fun developing the confidence in this horse and bringing him along, and it's an exciting venture for me and for him. And just remember, when you're starting your colt, make sure that you have the experience and the knowledge to accomplish it. There's a lot of people that I feel like that start a colt, and these horses are so innocent that they're not going to forgive you for their mistakes or for your mistakes as much as an older horse will. And you know, try to be smart about it and understand if you have the knowledge or the experience to get the job done.